Hello, everyone. My name is Carlos, and here we have Scott. So Scott is a mental health YouTuber and a mental health advocate. And without further introduction, can you just tell us more about yourself, Scott?
You got it all. That's it. That's all I am. Only
Oh,
two-dimensional. No, yeah, mental health YouTuber. I also host a podcast, Depression to Expression, and keynote speaker. So before all of this COVID-19, I would go to schools and corporations and give mental health presentations. And basically, the overall theme of those presentations was the importance of in-person connection and communicating with another human being, and knowing that we're imperfect people, but in order to share that with someone else is the most beautiful feeling in the world. And that can also be seen as like an antidote to stress, anxiety, feeling depressed, is connecting with another individual. And that's kind of what's at the basis of this problem right now with COVID-19 is, oh, we almost got that connection. We were so close, and then this pulled us away again. So we're trying to come back together again. So between the podcast and YouTube, and now it's all virtual speaking, life's good, man. Life's good.
nice, nice. So I know that this COVID-19 is affecting a lot of people, including youth and adults with their work jobs and everything. But just curious, like how, in your opinion, how does COVID-19 affect people's mental health?
Oh, for youth or people in general?
Yeah, for youth as of right
For
now.
youth, yeah, because it's different. Like we all have different responsibilities at certain points in life, right? So if you're a parent and you have a full-time job and you have 4 kids and COVID-19 comes out, you're going to have different challenges, obviously, than a grade 9.
Yeah.
However, that's not to compare stress levels. It's just to compare responsibilities.
Mhm.
So, you know, it's affecting people's mental health in a variety of ways. But what we've all heard before, I think if you just Google it and you look for resources, people are feeling lonely, people are feeling anxious based on the uncertainty that we're feeling. But I just want to switch and give people a new perspective here. If I think what's going on is yes, we're busy, but this is the first time in a long time where we have finally sat with ourselves with no distraction at times. Like we're finally in the quiet. We're finally in this area, in this sphere of solitude. And this can take a toll on mental health because maybe you're finally getting to know yourself. Maybe some demons are rising up that you thought you repressed. And that's not a bad thing. You're finally saying hi to these things and you're welcoming them to the surface, but this can cause anxiety. So what happens, I think it was a tweet a while ago, and someone said, hey, I thought I liked my job, but now that I'm working from home, I realize I hate my job because all my job is I'm just on the computer all day. The only reason I like my job is because I got to go to work and hang out with coworkers and do some water cooler talk, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Now this is all coming to the surface and this actualization, and I'm really getting to know myself. And knowing yourself sometimes is a very scary thing for the first time. So I think COVID is scaring people, but in a way, not that, oh, we're stressed out and there's a lot to do, but oh my gosh, I'm taking a look at myself maybe for the first time in a long time.
That's true. And also humans, it comes down to humans are social creatures and, staying in isolation and in certain countries, I know it could be very hard for people to not have any social interactions. Uh, and
Oh, yeah, completely, Carlos. It's like that's definitely the big one. And to mitigate that is to finally reach out to people and allow others to reach in. And that's why this technology is so beautiful now.
yeah,
But it's almost to be like no one is so strong that they can be alone during this time and not feel something negative. We need that social connection. We need to reach out. It literally changes our physiology. I don't think we have enough time here to go through that. But
yeah,
when you're connecting with another individual, it's been studied that you literally release oxytocin in your body, that cuddle and love hormone. Your blood pressure decreases, right? The stress hormone cortisol decreases because you matter, and that you matter to someone else and someone else matters to you, and how good of a feeling that is, right? So if you want to feel better, decrease anxiety, yes, we can do the meditations, we can do the exercise, you can do the alms, you can do the yoga, very important. But what Carlos and I are doing right now, I think that's a crucial piece. And just to say hi to someone, to have that conversation once again.
that's so true, Scott. Thank you for that. And also, I know with this isolation stuff, people are having more time to do stuff in terms of playing video games, doing homework, but it's also important to stay motivated during this time. So what are some tips, and how do you cope with staying motivated?
Man, can I ever resonate with the video game thing? Like, I downloaded Call of Duty Warzone, and oh my gosh, and I downloaded, this is an old game. I don't know if you guys know it. It's called Skyrim.
Okay.
And it's like an RPG, and geez, I'm just getting soaked in. So I get it. Like the video games and the escape into other worlds. I got a VR headset, man. I can go anywhere in the world in VR. It's hard to stay motivated when you have all of these other options. And
Mhm.
these other options, it may not even be that you're running away from stress. It might be like, man, I just haven't had time to finally enjoy a video game because I've been so worried with school and busy. Now this is finally the time. But in order to focus on studies for youth and to stay motivated, um, again, we finally have maybe that little bit of time where we're sitting on our own and can really think deeply about these things, right?
Yeah.
What if you, because this helps me personally, if you I know it sounds strange, but if you organize your day into half hour or even 15-minute increments, like that's how tight we can be with our schedule. So even if you do the same thing for 30 minutes, you still lay out a schedule for 15 minutes in the morning. Okay, that's when I'm literally like, this is step by step. I'm literally having breakfast for the first 15. The next 15, I'm checking out my social feeds. Okay. The next 15, I'm starting work. The next 15 is my break. Now you could overlap and say my breakfast is 15 and then another 15. But to dissect your day like that is something that brings you back into the present moment so easily. And it's really hard, especially when people are feeling a little depressed and a little anxious. We can't see the end of the tunnel. We can't see the light. When you're planning your day in 15-minute or even 30-minute increments, well, anyone can do something for 15 minutes, let's say, and you can focus on the task at hand, right? So if you do that, you're constantly seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. You're constantly reaching a goal. Feels good, nice hormonal injection in the body, feeling great. You go into the next goal. You achieve it, 15-minute increments. That's helped me stay motivated.
Nice. And I've also seen other youth post on their stories on social media where whenever they complete a task, they have like they write it on a post-it note and then they put it on like a wall or something. What do you think
Yeah.
about that technique?
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Honestly, let's see if I have, well, this is like I'll show you right here. This is my hour increment little schedule here, and it's
Okay.
not even done, but I'll do that at the beginning of the week. But as far as the sticky notes, amazing. Highlighting after you're done a task. Oh, does that feel good?
Yeah.
Or just a nice cross off, you're
Yeah.
like done. It feels amazing. Whatever works for you. And the cool thing about the time now is you can try these different things. You can see what works for you. Scott, that 15-minute thing, that was dumb, man. Didn't work for me. Okay, fair enough. Well, why don't you try the sticky note thing? Why don't you try having a weekly calendar? Why don't you try, having an agenda or a journal? Like whatever works for you. What if you just play video games? You wake up early, play video games for 2 hours, and then you start school.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Every individual, we're individuals. That's why we're different. Things will work for different people. The fun part about being human is you can experiment and see what works for you.
That's true. Very good insight, Scott. So I know we still don't know how long COVID-19 will last, especially with the government measures that are happening. But once it does, it will for sure end sometime. What do you see as the after effects of COVID-19 in terms of people's lives and how it will operate after?
Did you come up with these questions?
I did.
That's a great question. That's a
Um,
great question because I think there's two perspectives here that a lot of people are jumping on. One is that people are still going to be very, very distant after all this is done. We're not going to just jump right in. It's going to be, there's still going to be big physical distance and people are going to be a little iffy about touching.
mhm.
I'm taking the other perspective saying that when it is safe, when all this is done, whenever that may be, I think we're going to truly appreciate human connection once again, physical connection, in-person communication. I was talking to someone from Vancouver, from the CMHA. I'm like, when all this is over, we're not going to Zoom anymore. I'm flying to Vancouver for a 15-minute meeting. Okay. We're going to take like extreme measures and maybe take that extra time Instead of doing a Zoom call, hey, listen, it's a half hour. I got to take the subway, but you know what? I'm going to meet you for that hour meeting instead of going on Google Hangouts or Zoom. I feel like we're going to slow down as a species a little bit. At least I hope so. Or if you don't slow down after, we're slowing down now and realizing that people are worth the time. Friends are worth the time. Coworkers are worth the time. Communication in person is worth the time and effort. That's what I think will be a lasting effect. I think it's going to be a positive after effect.
Yeah, especially like when you handshake people after doing a deal or talking to them. Those are we take that for granted before COVID-19, and now we can't do it anymore. I feel like that's gonna and also the social distancing measures that Justin Trudeau might be putting in place that might stay for like 2 years or more than that. Like, what do you think about social distancing measures for that long?
I guess I haven't kept up to date that far, but
Yeah.
that would be very difficult. That would be very difficult. The only reason that humans evolved the way we did, and the only reason that we're here right now, evolving over hundreds of thousands of years as humans, is because of connection, because we had this tribe that we were with physically. And a human without a tribe is a human that experiences more depression, more anxiety, and more mental health problems. So if that's going to be a longer term measure, I think we are going to need to increase social supports like mad and just really get people access to more mental health care. That's one aspect. The other thing we're going to need to put in place is probably more funded care or more funded technology. Like, hey, guess what? Zoom is now free over the 45 minutes, right? You have to pay for the version for, we're going to have to do things like that so people can still stay in touch a lot easier. Maybe phone companies will decrease their overall data plans for the month, right? Or for a year contract. Things are going to need to kind of move in our favor in order for us to maintain that connection digitally.
For sure. Awesome. And just last question. Like I know during this time it can be pretty hard for people in terms of coping with their mental health. And I was just curious, like, how do you think people could seek help in terms of therapy, mental health, like during this time?
Oh, you know what? Like, I've heard people saying we need more support at this time for mental health, and I said, have you Googled it though? Have you done a Google?
Mhm.
Because there are so many businesses, so many companies, so many supports out there that are free right now. There are free mental health webinars. There's free therapy happening month to month. There's incredible offers. So if you're comfortable with giving therapy a shot or peer support a shot, there are so many peers. There's one called like I'm Alive. There's the 7 Cups of Tea, or I think it's just called 7 Cups now.
Mhm.
There's so many different offerings out there for people to actually get that support. Like I even have my own Discord group from subscribers on YouTube. If people want to join that, feel free. And we just keep chatting and we do live streams together and we check in with each other. Um, these are the things that are available at the click of a button. So if how can people seek it? It's right in front of us. We just have to look. We just have to look. It's there. It's there.
Nice. Okay. And are your Discord server like linked under your YouTube videos, or how can people from our network join onto yours?
Yeah, so it's unfortunately actually it's different because I give like free offers sometimes and there's paying members as well.
Yeah.
But if your people through your organization are interested, or anyone watching this, they can just send me an email at scott@depression2expression.com, and if they're in need of that peer support and these are positive people. They're real fighters. So if they're interested in joining the Discord group,
Hmm.
where we organize live streams, we have the chat groups, we have
Nice.
meditations that we share, resources that we share. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and the people all over the world. That's the coolest part. We can see what's going on in the U.S. We can see what's going on in Germany. We can see what's going on, in parts of Asia. It's amazing. It's amazing. The
It is.
internet's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, look what we're doing now, Carlos. Isn't this sweet?
I know, and then you could share with other people, and it's crazy. It's really nice. Yeah.
So surreal. So surreal. See, I didn't have the internet growing up. I didn't. Every time I turn on my computer and click, I'm like, whoa, amazing. It's a pretty awesome thing we can really grasp and hone into right now, and have that gratitude for, yes, we know what we can't have right now. We know we can't have the social connection. I can't go to McDonald's and sit down. I can't go to Chuck E. Cheese and play those terrible games, right? But I can't go see the Toronto Raptors win again. But we have to focus on what we do have and what we can do. And we can have this connection. We can have Discord groups and peer support groups. We can still get food, basically whenever we really want to, as long as we can wait in line for a bit. It's not too bad. It's not like we have to gut a moose or hunt. Okay. Food is still at the ready for us. So we got to be grateful. We got to be grateful.
Yeah, that's so true. All right. Well, Scott, thank you so much for your insights. I know might not take a long time, this webinar or whatever, but I know it'll be a big impact on our members and our people in our organization. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to talk to me and answer these questions. And so if you guys want to contact Scott, you could find him on his YouTube, LinkedIn, and even email him. All right.
That's it.
Thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you so much, Carlos. Amazing. And thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Awesome.